Mariquita, how are
Hello.
you,
Good. How
baby?
about you?
I'm doing well. How's that for an intro, huh?
Exciting.
So it
Full of
is.
life.
So what's going on? So what are we doing today?
We're going to talk about, I think let's talk about forgiveness. How
Oh,
some,
cool.
the barriers to forgiveness and how it can benefit us.
All right, cool. So do you have anything specific, or you just want to just dive into the generality of forgiveness?
Well, I think people that seem to be challenged are the ones that say, I
Right.
can't forgive, and then they're
And that's
poisoning
true.
themselves.
And
Right.
that really is true. They really, really can't. And the thing about getting off of it is that's where forgiveness comes from. And I truly believe that forgiveness is about helping us get off of it. We don't have to maintain a victim mentality, even though we are victims. Thank God for multiple truths. So even though, yes, we were wronged, part of forgiveness is getting off the fact that you were wronged. You understand? It's not just saying that you weren't wronged, because you are, but it's a deep, deep level of acceptance. Of really, when I mean acceptance, I'm not saying endorsing it. I'm not saying inviting it. But acceptance is like, wow, if I'm going to be ready for anything, if I'm going to allow anything to happen, this is a representation of anything. And if I hold any negative energy, it hurts me. And my favorite analogy that I use, and a lot of people quote me on this, it's like drinking poison, wanting the other person to die. So when you're holding on to something or you're harboring something because of a lack of forgiveness, that becomes toxic to you. So, as a form of self love, it's very, very important that you practice forgiveness without ignoring the fact that some type of atrocity may have happened to you. But the fact is, what are we going to do given the unfortunate circumstances that an atrocity happened? Do you want to give the perpetrator even more energy by being this toxic, non forgiving individual? Or do you want to represent the concept of, wow, if I can forgive this act, not condone it. You got to understand that forgiveness does not mean accepting it as if it was okay, as if a wrong wasn't committed. It's just going, given the circumstance that this is the card that I was dealt, and I can't ignore the fact that I was dealt this card. What is truly forgiveness is a transcendent level of acceptance. Doesn't mean you have to like it. It doesn't mean you'd ever want to wish that on your worst enemy. Forget people that you love. Forget yourself. But you are going to go to another level, truly, a really higher level of comprehending what it means to love yourself. And if you love yourself, you'll do everything you can to acknowledge that, yes, you've been victimized, but you're going to get off of the victimized platform, because that's not forgiveness. Forgiveness is getting off of it. It's more than giving somebody, a free pass. Forgiveness is not like, well, you did this wrong to me. Well, okay, no worries, because I forgave you. It doesn't work that way. It's like, if you were wronged, and many people have been wronged in our lives, and here's a big one, we've wronged people as well. So a lot of times we'll turn around, and when we've wronged people, we'll say, well, the wrong that happened to me was so much worse and so much significant than any wrong I have ever done. It's like, oh, so that's why you have a hard time, because you were out wronged, right? So, I mean, it really is true. And so we'll hold on to these ridiculous concepts of victimization. And it's not to say that you weren't a victim. It's just to say that that is not the platform that's going to help you love yourself and bring yourself to higher levels, given that there's no going back to the fact that the situation happened that happened. So I don't know if this is making sense, because I can go into a lot more detail than that. I don't know what you're looking for. So
No, it's making sense.
okay, so I like to think of forgiveness as a transcendent practice of acceptance. And I think acceptance is so important. It's actually used in 12-step program, and acceptance has been the answer to all. When I stopped living in the problem, I began living in the solution. Well, the problem could be your relationship to the event, not so much the event anymore. Yes, the event was an original problem. It was an original transgression. It could be the original sin. But it's not happening right now. What's happening right now is your relationship to this ridiculous event, this horrific event, right? So what I want to see you do is be able to make changes where changes are able to be made, because we're not going to put our head in the sand and act like this never happened, right? But we're also not going to turn around and say, well, it's okay, because it's not that kumbaya-ish. What's really going on when it comes to forgiveness, it's like realizing that we all have unlimited chances, unlimited second chances to do better. And that's not just for the perpetrator. that the perpetrator is given an opportunity to, victimize someone else or step up. And that's something we all got to deal with when we deal with a free society, is that people at any point in time can be dark. They can take advantage of you. They can do some evil thing towards you. They can be less than conscious. But also at the same time, people can be amazingly conscious. And I think to get to the solution of this, if you want to see people be more conscious, then what you want to do is bring a more conscious version of you into all your relationships so that your influence is amazingly conscious. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So forgiveness is one of those practices. That's why it's in all religions. Because when I say it's soapboxes are for stepping off, not for stepping on, sometimes, and it's true, soapboxes are for stepping off. Sometimes what we're stepping off is the fact that, we're holding on to this singular perspective that we're a victim, that we've been victimized. And that may be true, but you're also unlimited in your potential to heal. You're unlimited in your potential to grow through all adverse situations. So I don't want to focus on the victimization-y part of it, because that's going to keep you mired in the abuse. I want you to develop an amazing amount of resolve, right? And a deep level of commitment to loving yourself, that you take look what I'm capable of doing. Look at the levels of success that I can have in the face of having such an atrocity toward me. That's forgiveness, when you go beyond the victimization, embrace, which is organic for us all to do initially. But that's what makes it such a primal, animalistic, lower-minded thing. Forgiveness is such a conscientious, mindful practice that it does require a deep dive, to be able to start doing it really well. So.
Right, tell a greater story.
Absolutely. Tell a great story about what happened and why it even happened. And some people say, and there's some merit to this, that you need to be accountable. Everybody needs to be accountable. And that's true. You do need to be accountable, but sometimes when you're being accountable, it could be pretty much not self-love. Sometimes being accountable can be like, well, like for instance, let's talk about rape. Or it doesn't even have to be rape. Let's just talk about, sexual improprieties, right? Inappropriate behavior. Like, what did you do? You need to be accountable. What did you wear? Was it provocative? And all that stuff.
Oh,
and let me tell you something. There is a place to that, but not everybody who wears things provocative are going to be, sexually, whatever, attacked in some kind of level. But there is something for you as a gift to grow. And I don't mean the event was a gift. I'm so careful here. And you can see I'm almost anxious in talking about this, only because I get how dark and horrible it is. I get that. I'm not ignoring that. No head in the sand, no rose-colored glasses. But I want to see you transcend it. And I think that's what forgiveness is a process of your own transcendence. Does that make sense?
Definitely. I mean,
Cool.
And then I hear people saying, "Oh, but you don't know how terrible it was," and they get stuck on that. They love to hold.
And
on
it was
to that.
terrible. And it's very,
Yeah.
very important to acknowledge that it was terrible. But it wasn't just terrible.
Right.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
But it's not just terrible. And that's a really, really, that doesn't mean it was also good. I'm not saying that. But yes, it was terrible. But it's also something that was in your path. It was part of your life experience. Now, because you're unprepared at this point for something like that, can you be prepared for the ripple of it? Can you get prepared for the fact that this had happened to you and embrace it at a much higher, where your functionality increases, not decreases? And that's an important conversation that needs to happen.
Right. I mean, I think taking the steps to be resilient to the things that are going to come in your path, getting prepared.
Right. Absolutely. And the way to do that is through conversations like this. You don't get resilient by living philosophically. You really don't. You have to have real conversations, deep, meaningful conversations. That's why I appreciate you and what you're doing, like your commitment to greaterness coaching and your ability to really create a movement through this work is so, so, so important, because there really isn't a better approach that I know of out there besides having a real, deep, meaningful, purposeful conversation about our challenges and the calls that we have to answer for our own spiritual, personal development. And those personal, spiritual development calls to answer never go away. As a matter of fact, the more you answer them, it seems like the more they come, but at least you're at a higher level, so you're not so susceptible to transgressions against you, causing you to just be a bumbling idiot, really can't function. You're so suboptimal that it's almost painful for anybody to be with you. You get it? And that people feel sorry for you. And for some people, that's the payoff, to get compassion. And so you got to stop that whole idea of needing to get compassion for people or empathy from people, right? The idea here is to get respect from people, because we all have challenges. Some challenges truly are significantly worse than others, but that's no excuse to lose your humanity, your compassion, your empathy, your ability to grow through love. That's never going to go away. That's why I'm so honored that you're using the Successions model and the Greaterness model, and that you're devoting your life to this, because it means a lot to me as the creator of Greaterness Coaching. that you really are out there doing your part to allowing this to actually be a movement. That's really important.
Well, it's exciting because each little step, I mean, it's so huge. I mean, and just loving, of course, loving yourself and giving yourself credit every day, and not just saying, oh, well, I didn't do as good as I should have done. I should have done this. I should have done that.
There it is.
You know?
Forgiveness. What's forgiveness in that? Forgiveness is accepting that, but going up a step, going up a notch. That's what I mean. When I say we get unlimited second chances, that's what forgiveness is that we could do it better now. So if you didn't like the way you did it, and I can understand we can all do things better, etch a sketch. Start all over again, clean slate. That's what forgiveness is, right? We're going to start over new. And now do it better. I mean, that's what forgiveness is actually taking the gift of having unlimited second chances and taking another chance right now and do it better, because you've learned from your experience that I need to grow, I need to do this better. And when you do, you meet that developmental need, and then you get different types of challenges that come. You know?
Right.
But
well,
it's
the fire,
great.
yeah, like the fire extinguisher.
Exactly.
Getting it ready before the fire.
But that's what we're doing right now. This is preparation. This is preparation for really being ready for anything to come, and anything does come. And not everything that comes is going to be all sunshines and rainbows. But your embrace of it can be so optimal that your embrace of something horrific could actually be sunshines and rainbows. Not that it makes the event itself sunshine and rainbows. Like I always say, you know, it's not what happens to you that matters. It's how you respond to it that matters. And that's where the sunshine and rainbows comes from, in the power of your response.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else, or is that feeling like that's a great little soundbite? Let's keep it short.
I love it. It's
Okay.
great. Yeah.
That was good, right? Okay. Well,
Super
we'll
perfect.
do this again sometime, right?
All righty.
Say goodbye to your people who adore you. See you
Have
soon.
a blessed day.
You too. Bye.